Shang The Legend of the Ten Rings is the brand new MCU movie, the first Disney movie really to hit theaters exclusively this weekend on this 4-day Labor Day. The film stars Simon Liu, Aquafina, Tony Leung, and Michelle Yeoh. Tell the story once again of Shang-Chi, who left his family 10 years ago, but now is drawn back with his best friend Katie, played by Aquafina, to confront his past with the Ten Rings organization led by Tony Leung's character. The film is in 2 hours and 12 minutes and is PG-13. Welcome back to a brand new movie review here on Max Cost Movies. We're talking Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, another MCU film, the second of 4 of the year. Before we start with my review of Shang-Chi, please like the video, guys. The thumbs up button down below, please hit it. It's the best way to support this channel at the moment. Also, please subscribe, ring the bell if you're new to the channel. I do the movie reviews, TV show reviews, a box office breakdown show, which you'll check out on Tuesday to see how Shang-Chi does at the box office, and movie rankings. So if you're new to the channel, subscribe, ring the bell. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers, and bigger things are happening very soon on the channel. And also, please comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. First of all, if you've seen Shang-Chi, let me know, is this one of your favorite, least favorite MCU films, or just movies of the entire year? If not, tell me, are you excited, and will you see Shang-Chi in theaters on this 4-day Labor Day weekend? Let's talk about the movie. So I am, as you know, if you are familiar with the channel, I am a big MCU person. I've reviewed on this channel already Black Widow, and then I've done every episode of What If, WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, and Loki. So I'm pretty pumped right now with MCU stuff for this year. And this was one I was pretty excited for because it is the more distant one from the actual MCU. It's a very much an origin story of Shang-Chi and the world, really, of Shang-Chi. And that's what I kind of want to say, first of all, is my favorite part about this movie is that it's just so different from what the MCU currently is doing. Most of the films in the last 5 years have really either been sequels or big team-up movies. And it's so great to go back, not to phase one quality, but to phase one with the solo movie. I think this is one of the better solo movies they've done in a couple years. I think Shang-Chi is a really great origin story, and we talk about all the time with the MCU how a lot of their origin stories, Doctor Strange, Iron Man, all of them sometimes do follow a formula, and this movie does not follow that formula. And it's a completely different formula because Shang-Chi's relationship with his father, with his sister, is totally different from what any of the characters in the MCU have gone through with their families so far in the universe. But I do want to say, first of all, Simon Liu, who's playing Shang-Chi in the movie, is really, really good in this film. He's going to be a megastar, a superstar in Hollywood. He's really good in this movie. He has a lot of charisma. He has some good comedic timing. And he has some really good emotional beats because you can really feel during the movie. Obviously, if you know the trailer, you see this, the mom passed away, and that's what made Tony Leung's character go back to the 10 rings and wear them again and be a criminal lord again. And you can tell the main theme of the movie is he more his dad or his mom? You can really see both throughout the entire film. That's not just because of looks, it's also because of Simon Liu's performance, who really grasps who his parents in the movie are. And he really brings that out really, really well. And his chemistry with everyone, especially Tony Leung and Aquafina, are really, really off the charts here. He's a really great hero and he has great kung fu skills, so I cannot wait to see in the MCU in the future. Aquafina is great as always. She's a really good comedic timing in this film. She really is just one of the main comedic elements of the entire film. She's really funny. She's also a really good best friend for Shang-Chi. She has known him for the last 10 years by the beginning of the film, and he has not told her about anything of his past involving the 10 rings. And when she's on the journey, she's also learning, just like we're learning, about Shang-Chi's relationship with his father and the entire 10 rings organization. But I do want to say, guys, my favorite part of the movie, character-wise, by far, was Tony Leung's performance as basically the Mandarin. They do explain what happened in Iron Man 3. They actually explain in multiple scenes what happened in Iron Man 3. But if you're coming in here saying, well, this is all what the character is, this is a really great villain. In my opinion, it's easily top 10 MCU villains. And not just because, obviously, Tony Leung has the 10 rings, which obviously makes him intimidating. Of course, he's the crime boss of the 10 rings, but he is so intimidating. The way his performance is really, really great. It's easily, in my opinion, the strongest performance in the entire film. And you can really feel why he fell in love with Shang-Chi's mom. You can really feel that he does still kind of care for his two kids. The sister also, by the way, is great in this movie. Can't wait to see what they do with her down the line. But I think that his relationship with his kids or your mom, you can really see it. He's a very layered character. He's not just this villain who is the father of our main character. He has some depth on why he's the villain, why he wants to be a crime lord, and why he still, for some reason, cares about his kids. And that beauty and the relationship between Shang-Chi and his father is really the most beautiful part of the entire movie. Also, the action scenes, guys, in the first two acts of this movie are fantastic. The hand-to-hand kung fu fight scenes, especially one on the train and one in a like a roof of a building or the side of a building. Those are two great, amazing jaw-dropping action scenes that made me want to keep watching. I had the most fun watching this movie in with those two action scenes. The bus scene, and you've seen both of those clips in the trailer when you get the full scene of what happens on the train and what happens on the side of the building. It's some really, really great stuff. And yes, it does have a lot of great MCU stuff in here. There's a lot of cameos that I can't talk about at the moment. And I also want to say there's two post-credit scenes in the movie. One is the mid-credit scene, and then one is the very, very end of the credits. I want to say the first post-credit scene is fantastic. And you do want to stay for both post-credit scenes. They do set up future things. I know some people in my theater were pretty disappointed with the second post-credit scene. You do want to stay, in my opinion, for both post-credit scenes. But the first one is fantastic and one of the better ones they've done in the last in their entire time. It's top 10 for me. It's a really great post-credit scene. But as I said, the world is also beautiful. The CGI, now while there's a lot of CGI in the third act, I'll get to that in my negatives. There's no bad CGI in the entire movie. I think we said that with Black Widow. It was heavy CGI and was clearly not Scarlett Johansson doing those things. This movie has much better CGI, has also great world building with the where they fight these people. It's a really great world building movie for Shang-Chi. It's not just about Shang-Chi. It's also not just also about the Legend of the Ten Rings, about the world building around the world where Shang-Chi operates. And this movie definitely does a good job of doing that. But let's talk about my negatives really quickly. My biggest fault of the movie is that it does just become a CGI fest in the last 15 minutes of the movie. Now, it doesn't kill the movie. It's still an okay third act. But for me, I was so enthralled and it was more intense watching these two, watching characters have hand-to-hand real kung fu stunts and action scenes. And then to just go from the first two acts of the movie, just to another CGI fest in the third. As I said, the CGI is really good in this movie. It just took me out of it a touch because I really respected what they were going for with the stunt work and the kung fu work in the movie. And I'm not the biggest judge of kung fu. I really did enjoy the kung fu in this movie a lot. And then to basically go away from that, I thought was a huge mistake in the last act of the movie as well. Also, I just wish there were I think the movie, as I said, the third act is it's very similar to Black Panther to a lot of people. I feel this would be for. If you're a big person of Black Panther, and there's a lot of people who think like this, like the first two acts are fantastic, and then the third act does not make it a top tier MCU movie. Now, I was not really thinking this was, I was almost there. I really do hold this to a very similar level to Black Panther. I do have Black Panther better than this movie, but I do think that they both have similar problems where the first two acts of both these movies are fantastic. The first two acts of Shang-Chi is really great. And the third acts are basically okay, not great. But I did have more emotion with Black Panther than I do with Shang-Chi. But another issue, I think some of the story beats aren't that great. I think that they should have fleshed out more of the relationship, the dynamic between Shang-Chi and his sister. You kind of get the point that his sister was very much in the background because women were not allowed to fight back when they were training Shang-Chi as a child. And she always and her story is really great. And I want to see her more fleshed out in another project. And it seems like we will be doing that, but I really hope we do see her in a bigger way because I think her relationship with Shang-Chi is going to be one of the crucial parts that is going to be coming out of this movie for the future of the MCU. So that's my thoughts, guys, on Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings. I'm going to give this film 4 to 5 stars. I'm going to give it a 78%. I really like this movie. I did want to love this movie, and too much if it relied more on the hand-to-hand combat in the third act. I think this would be in the top 10 for me in the MCU, but because of too much CGI and not all the characters tie-ups worked for me, I still did think that this is a really good MCU movie. It's definitely top 15 MCU movie for me. It's so tough now. The MCU is such an ever-going franchise, but I'm so happy. It's so great to see basically an all Asian cast and an Asian superhero now in the MCU. It's just in general, it's so fresh, and the culture that's shown on screen is really inspiring. So that's my thoughts on Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, ring the bell, like this video, and tell me your thoughts. First of all, if you've seen Shang-Chi in non-spoiler fashion, did you like the movie? Do you agree with me? Let's talk about. Also, every Wednesday, guys, if you're new to the channel, I do a spoiler breakdown of What If, a spoiler review. So check back on Wednesday. We're also going to check back on Tuesday. How did Shang-Chi do at the box office? It's going to be very important for the rest of the year of movies as we continue to see more movies being moved. That's my thoughts on Shang-Chi. If you want to see my review of Black Widow, you can click that link right above. If you want to see my other movie reviews of the year, that's also right here. I'll see you guys soon.